It's time to be happy because this is the last presentation for the evening, so a little bit of happy faces will always help, right? So thank you, Kinshuk. I think you took a lot of thunder from what I'm going to speak now. First of all, I want to thank all of you to be here on this day because when I told my wife that there is a partner event I'm having on the 14th of Feb, she asked me a plethora of questions. Where, why, how many people, when is it going to end? And I'm not joking. You know, there is some event which is planned and there are constant messages on my WhatsApp group as to when I'm going to end. So it's in my interest to get this done faster than in your interest, right? So whilst I was discussing and talking about partner events, and we did a chapter in Delhi, then in Bangalore, and I was thinking, what should I share with you? Because a lot of you have been working with Crayon for a very long period of time. A lot about our platform is known, a lot about our model is known. Partners are speaking well about us, and by the way, it is not stage managed. They're speaking from their hearts. They love us. They care for us. So we like that. I thought I'll take a leaf and talk a little bit about what CIOs are speaking in the marketplace, right? So I've been now engaging with CIOs because our model is hybrid, right? A large part of our business is through partners, but we also have a very, very deep engagement with end customers directly, right? And I've spent a lot of time with end customers over the last 1 year plus. And especially in the last 3-4 months, this engagement with partners has really gone up. I also happened to spend time with the CIO of a reasonably large bank in Norway where I took him out for a customer event and I spent 2 days with him. And, I usually never make notes, but I thought I will make a few notes because I think some of these things are pertinent. And very reflective of what customers are talking in the marketplace. So I like to share that with you, and I'm kind of then create a segue into what Crayon does quickly and finish. And I'll fast. So the first thing I asked him, and he's a good friend of mine, I said, in the good old days, few years back, people used to talk about CIOs, and the definition for CIO was, and Mr. Asawli will perhaps concur with me, I was in an event in Pattaya with a lot of CIOs when I was with Dell, and the common phrase on the floor was CIO means career is over, right? And that's what technology leaders were talking. And I asked him, how do you see that today? And he says, no, today it's quite different because I am part of business discussions. I am called on management meetings to discuss what we are doing as a business. Today, the way technology is moving, business leaders and heads of businesses are looking at technology creating a different value proposition and business value for their organization. So that clearly seems to have changed a lot. When I spoke about digital transformation, he said, what is digital transformation? And most people and most CIOs say, we have been doing this for years. Digitizing certain workloads, digitizing certain functions within the organizations to bring efficiency, to create customer experience, to create different models. Of course, today we are talking of platform-based models, which is completely different. Right? We're talking of startup communities which do not have the legacy of enterprise architectures. Yet they are building something which is completely legacy, which is completely born in the cloud without any legacy. Right? But they said we've been doing this forever. For many CIOs, this thing about digital transformation and AI, and they say AI has been around. I was in an event yesterday and SAS Institute was on the dais and said, we've been doing analytics for donkey's years. So what's the big deal about AI? And so a lot of technology leaders want to believe that this is a buzzword, right? We have been doing this in some shape and form. License management, mundane, we do that. Commodity. No CIO will tell you that it's a pain point, but it's a big pain point. People do not understand how licensing works. The models keep changing. How to do internal architectures on an SAP, for example. I have all kinds of customers who come and tell me, when, of course, you engage very deeply with them, that we do not understand this space as well. I have all of these CIO groups, people who do CIO forums, CIO choice, for example. A lot of questions on their internal CIO WhatsApp group is about, I have this licensing deal to buy. I really do not understand how they are charging me. Can someone help? Right? So that's pretty commoditized. This business is pretty commoditized, but it's a big pain point for technology leaders. Multi-cloud is a reality. I was going through a study, I think it was a study largely based in the US, and they were saying CIOs on an average are adopting 5 clouds. Of course, I don't see that in India. But they were saying companies on an average are adopting 3 to 5 clouds. Multi-cloud is a reality across the board. This particular CIO I spent time with is already on Azure, he's already on AWS, and he's already now considering Google. And of course, hybrid is the way to go because a lot of his stuff is on-prem. He has not taken a lot into the cloud. It's only about 50 terabytes of data that he has taken into the cloud because for him, he does not have the skill to take all of this into the cloud. Okay, he has one vendor who uses one tool, who moves all the workloads into the cloud. So if it is a lift and shift, VMs go on-prem, say you take him to the cloud, good. It's easy. But now technology environments are getting complex. So they need partners who can do re-architecturing, re-platforming, see how you can re-architect applications, a lot of that stuff. So he's beginning to feel the need to now move to slightly more complex partners with sophisticated set of capabilities. Containers, Kubernetes, DevOps, AI, RPA. Okay? Whilst these are all buzzwords, I think the thing that I heard consistently right through, and I've been hearing this for quite some time now, containers and Kubernetes. People want to deploy apps at the fastest. They want DevOps because in a digitally transforming environment, everything needs to be, at the click of a button. Things need to be, applications need to be remodified, revised, re-architectured, and I am seeing a big ask and need for DevOps professionals across the board. Of course, you also have blockchain and AI and all of that, but if you're really transforming digitally, DevOps, containers, Kubernetes is really very, very big. Cloud spend, things are being put on the cloud. Once they are on the cloud, of course, it becomes agile, it becomes secure and all of that. But the problem that it creates is nobody has a control on the spend. Right? Most CIOs come to me and say, can you get me someone who can reduce the spend on the cloud? I have no control. Can someone help me with cost management? Can someone help me with governance? Okay? Becoming big problems for CIOs across the board. And how do I manage them once it's on the cloud? So that's the other important thing. I was at the same CIO's office about a couple of days back. By the way, this customer is about 60 crores of business for me and growing. So it's not a small customer. And I went for a specific discussion with him, and he was running helter-skelter all over the office. He was on calls consistently, seemed like a big fire, so he was firefighting. And when he came up and I asked him, is there a system which has gone down? Some kind of application which is critical to the business? Has that gone down? And he says, no. Because in addition to me using technology to create business value, he says, I am seeing that as a CIO or as a technology leader, more and more I am required to answer to regulation needs from government. This is one such need. I have been asked a few things from the regulatory authorities, and I am scampering to get that detail and information out to them. So compliance, privacy of data, governance frameworks, security is huge. It's huge. You can't even believe it. They have sleepless nights not about technology implementation. They have sleepless nights about this whole thing about security and frameworks and regulation needs and being compliant all the time. The other interesting thing he told me was, and that's the last point I have, is he said, business does not always concur with technology in the sense that there's a lot of inertia from the part of the business to move. So they will just not move. They will say it is working well, I don't want to change. But technology needs to go where technology needs to go. So what do you do? So he says, we then try to not disrupt the experience for the business or the end users, but create the change at the back end. So there are decisions on technology side they take without keeping the businesses necessarily informed. That was honestly an eye-opener for me. Maybe Mr. Asavre can elaborate more on that, but he said there are so many things that I do where I don't keep the end user informed at all. Right? So this is how the environment is moving. This is how this is where technology leaders are thinking. And so when we thought about our business 5 years back, we were into licensing, we were into software asset management and all of that. And we felt that there is a need for us to move up the value chain. because this was not sustainable, right? So we took a call in the last few years, and we are constantly evolving ourselves. So, of course, today we are a big aggregator, and it's important in today's world, right? We are an aggregator, okay? N number of partners with different skills, different OEMs with different offerings, all of them are available on our platform. It's not unusual for us to have customer scenarios where there are 3 or 4 partners engaged at the same time. I give them the software and cloud analytics skills. I manage the cloud spend. I optimize the cloud. Someone comes in with a blockchain capability. Someone comes in with an SAP capability, and so on and so forth. And my platform provides that for everyone. Okay, it's absolutely the best way to work today, right? Today, let's say a Red Hat OpenShift on Azure. Who can work with you? We can work with you. A VMware stack on AWS, who can work with you? Crayon can work with you. And I think that's the greatest value proposition that we offer to our customers and partners. A large part of what we do in digital transformation is also with the end customers, right? So I am pushing my team now to dwell deeper and deeper into customer engagements, because I was having a chat with a partner outside, and we went to six customers, and we took him to 6 customers, and the customer said, we have interest in your product. And after that, nothing happened. In most cases, nothing will happen, because what you need to do is go deeper into the customer environment and figure out what the customer really needs. So it's got to be a discussion of his need versus what you can provide. So I am pushing my team to get into deeper customer conversations. And it's important for all of you to know that this year we've kind of created a separate services and solution organization. So all our cloud architects who understand blockchain as an architecture, AI, who have VMware expertise, Red Hat expertise, who understand cloud, optimization of the cloud, they're all part of one organization. That's headed by Rajesh Thadani, if you know him. And Venkat Ramandi manages the entire coverage and the sales organization, which in layman's term is the pipeline building, the coverage that goes and meet customers and partners. And that org is managed by Venkat Raman. So there is this cross synergy between both of these, where one is providing the coverage and one is providing all the services and solutions. So that's how we are, and that's how we are trying to move up the value chain. For partners, hence it is important, while I spoke about all of this, and when we have in this room all of you along with Crayon, and we have all of these CIOs with all of these needs, of course all of us tick all those boxes. You want blockchain? We can do it. You want AI? We can do it. You want RPA? All of us can do it. The problem that all of you will have, how will you find that customer, right? There are so many customers out there. Most of you do not have the reach, which could be in India, which could be in a city, which could be global. You don't have the ecosystem of players that we work with. So one of the things that we do is, of course, provide you that GTM, that go-to-market. For example, Mr. Reddy spoke about SAP. We are doing a large motion with him with 1,500 customers of SAP on AWS and Azure both. Am I right, Mr. Reddy? Right? We spent considerable amount of time in the last 2 weeks creating this go-to-market motion with them. And I'm open to do this with all of you. We are doing something with TechForce on the RPA side. Of course, we need to see what's the return of investment on our efforts, and that's the value we will provide to you. The other value is, a lot of you will have different skills on services. Now we've kind of built a pretty large services organization, honestly. We always had it, but we never used to monetize it. But now the world is changing. If I don't monetize, I will die. If you don't monetize, you will die. Together, we will all die. So we need to find ways in which we can go and sell all of these beautiful services that we used to give in the past as sweeteners and make money. And that's this whole thing about we trying to get into services, because there are partners who have no skill sets, and we are happy to provide them everything. There are partners who understand everything. We are happy to work them on the platform. There are partners who want certain skills with certain partners. We are happy to put them in touch with other partners. You have some skills which I can take to my customers, I'm happy to work with you. So that's the way it all works. I'm sorry. And that's the way we are looking forward to this partnership. I'm very, very thankful. It's been 5 years for us in this country. And I wouldn't have been standing here and speaking to all of you and talking a successful story without all your contribution. And I mean it from my heart. The partners have been a great reason for Crayon's success in this country. And I really hope that this forum, which is a forum to, of course, update you about what we do, It's also a forum about celebrating the small things that we have done together. And I just wanted to stand here in front of you and with all my team at the back, just wanted to take a moment to thank you and give you a big hand.